Welcome to this series of videos from Mathcraft New Zealand about how to construct the Menger sponge. These videos are designed to go with Mathcraft in a box, but you don't have to have the box to follow along with these videos. This is the Menger sponge. So Menger sponge is an example of a fractal. And a fractal is any object that's made up of a repeating pattern that looks similar to itself when you zoom in. So the Menger sponge is a cube, but it's a cube with a hole in each of its faces. The cladding that we've put on, which is this paper, repeats the pattern. So if we zoom in on this corner cube, it looks like it also has a cube missing from its center. And then if we zoom in on this corner cube, it looks like it also has a square missing from its center, and so on. The number of pattern repeats in a fractal determines the level of the fractal. If we look at a piece of cladding that we've used on our Menger sponge, you can see that this part here has the pattern repeated over and over again. But let me show you a bigger version of that. So here it is blown up. So you can see it's a repeating pattern of wholly squares within wholly squares within wholly squares. The level of the fractal is determined by the number of squares of different sizes. So it's not the total number of squares, it's just the number of different sizes. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this picture is of a level 5 fractal. When we put it onto the sponge, we also count the hole in the middle of this face. So this makes the sponge a level 6 fractal when we've got the cladding on it. In this series of videos, we're going to learn how to build the Menger sponge. If you have Mathcraft in a box, you will have business cards and cladding, which will be used to put together your Menger sponge. If you don't have Mathcraft in a box, you can go to our website and download templates for both of these. You'll just need to make sure that the cards are printed on cardstock. This is 300 GSM, and the cladding is printed on normal printer paper. This is 80 GSM, and you'll need to cut them out yourself. But you don't need our cardstock and cladding to make Menger sponges. You can make them out of things that you have around the house. You can make your own cards. So here's one that's made out of plain cardstock. Here's another one made out of colourful plain cardstock. This is a really tiny one. Here's one made out of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I made this sponge here out of something completely different. This sponge is made out of origami units called Sonobi units. So it has a slightly different structure and it's made in a different way to the Menger sponge we're going to do. But this just gives you the idea that you can make a Menger sponge from all sorts of materials. You don't need the kit. In this series of videos, we're going to learn how to build the Menger sponge. So the Menger sponge is made from cardstock and this paper cladding. So this is what it looks like without the paper cladding. This is one just made from cardstock. And you can see that it's made up of cubes. There are actually 20 cubes that make up a Menger sponge, so it's made from these units. So in our first video, we're going to learn how to make a cube from cards. In our second video, we'll learn how to join the cubes together. In the third video, we'll learn how to put a piece of cladding onto a cube. And in our final video, we'll learn how to make and build up the sponge one piece at a time until we've finished. So join us in the next video when we'll learn how to make a cube.